going on, everybody? Welcome back to the shop and another video in the What Would Tyler Do series. Today, Tyler, that's me by the way, is going to tell you about edge banding. Now, if you've been here for a little while, and then for the new people, I have a strange fascination with edge banding. I don't know what it is. It's kind of a methodical, doesn't take a lot of brain waves to complete, and the process of taking a board that is going to look like this, a piece of plywood that looks like this, to something that looks like a solid piece of wood like this, is just very rewarding for the amount of work that it actually takes. Now, the entry price to get into edge banding is very, very low. Now, you can get some very expensive machines that will edge, it'll trim that edge banding, and it'll be perfect. But those things cost a ton of money, and unless you're doing kitchens and cabinets on a regular basis, that's just not something that you or I are actually going to need. Honestly, I've never used one. I've just watched videos of them, and they are very, very cool. Honestly, it probably takes longer to warm a machine like that up than it does to edge band almost an entire kitchen. Pretty cool stuff. But in a shop like this, what do you need? You obviously need some edge banding. I usually get mine in 200 something foot rolls off of Amazon, and you can get edge banding in every species, flavor, odor, scent that you could possibly want, even different widths. So like right here, I think I have birch. Yeah, I have birch 3/4 and I have birch 1/2 inch. You can get birch in 1.5 inch or maybe 2 inches. What is this one? This is 2-inch birch right here. You can get melamine edge banding, oak, walnut, cherry, everything that you could possibly want. And edge banding comes in 2 different flavors, at least that I know of. You have adhesive backed like this that is going to have an adhesive on the back of it that is going to be heated up by something which is going to make the bond for that edge banding to stick to your medium or that piece of wood. And there is basically like tape back where you can actually just unroll it right onto your workpiece and apply some pressure, and you should be good to go. I have not used that kind of sticky back type of edge banding before. I like to do the iron-on. I've done a lot of projects that have been around for a long time now, and the edge banding has held up very, very well. Once you got your edge banding, there's a couple of tools, not expensive and not many of them, that you need. You need an iron. This is actually my wife's iron. We're not going to touch that because it is warming up, but it does feel good because it is still 51 degrees in the shop here. Ironically, I actually have this iron out here in the shop more than my wife uses it. Now, that's not a knock on my wife, the wife, as you guys know her. That's a knock on me that I probably need to get myself an iron. Then you will need a pair of flush cut edge trimmers. These are from Fast Cap, and this allows you to put a flat cutting edge right up against the edge of your board and cut off those edge pieces, snip off those edge pieces. Then you are going to need a roller of some sort to apply some pressure. This is actually a brayer roller, which, if I'm understanding right, if you use an ink press, you actually use this to spread the ink out on that press. I use it to spread glue around, and I have also used it with great success in pressing down edge banding. Now, if you have that sticky back type of edge banding where you need to apply greater pressure, you might need something with a more firm roller than this. And you can get dedicated edge banding rollers. I'm just killing 2 birds with 1 stone right here. And then you will need an edge trimmer of some sort. You can get away with a little straight edge like this, but you're going to save yourself a ton of time, and you're going to get better results with a little edge trimmer like this. This will do both sides of your board at one time, and it has 2 different levels. So I guess if your one blade gets dull, you can flip it over and use the other side. And then I did mention this straight edge real quick, but this is really, really nice if you have to get around corners that you can't get your edge trimmer in. Not necessarily corners, but curves. Because corners, you'll run your edge trimmer off both sides and get a nice straight edge. But if you have corners, like the golf bag caddy that I did recently, inside corners, I had to use this to be able to cut out those areas that I was not able to get the edge trimmer in. And then this one is not really necessary in most cases, but a heat gun is sometimes nice. And this kind of goes back to what I was just talking about. If you have inside or outside radii that you can't get in here with this, you're not really going to be able to get in there with your iron either. And that is where the heat gun will allow you to heat up that backing and get everything stuck down onto your boards nice and well. You will also want a sanding block or sponge of some sort to give a quick swipe down that newly applied edge banding just to take off any small splinters that might be left over from the trimming. I like to use something around 150 grit, but there's no science to that. And you will need some kind of vise to allow you to hold your workpiece in place. I have a vise that I built into my workbench right here that is perfect for edge banding. I've been able to edge band big shelves on here, and it does a fantastic job. Again, this is something that I custom built into this workbench. I do have free plans for this workbench if you guys want something like this. A little vise like you would use for cutting down metal pieces is not really going to work. You're going to need something a little bit bigger like this. Alrighty, I got a couple of boards here, and we are going to run step by step through the process of edge banding. Alright, first thing we are going to do is we are going to clamp our workpiece into the vise. Make sure we got good clamps so nothing slides on us, and you do want to make sure that you have it set high enough so that your edge trimmer is not going to hit your clamp, so you don't have to readjust. It'll just save you time when you get to that part. Now we want to cut out our piece of edge banding to the length that we need with a little bit of overhang on each side, like 3/4 of an inch or so. And I like to snip this down with my flush cut trimmers right here. There we go. You do want to make sure that you are going to be doing your physical faces last, because if you have a piece of edge banding coming up on the edge right here and you've already done this portion, you will see the adhesive right here. So let's say this is the front of a shelf. You want to do the sides first, and then you want to do the top, because your top piece of edge banding will actually cover that adhesive and you'll have a seamless corner right here. But regardless of where you start, sides or top, make sure you clamp it into place, and the process is always the same. Now that we got our edge banding cut off, we're going to just lay it on our workpiece. Make sure we have an overhang on both sides so that we don't have to move it afterwards. We're talking both sides as the top and the bottom, and the left and the right portions. So hold it into place, and then flatly place your iron right on there. Slowly move it across. Already that's going to be heating up that adhesive and bonding to your wood. So you want to give it a good 5 to 6 seconds in every area, I would say. And this will become something that you can feel your way through to make sure you don't overheat the edge banding, but make sure you have enough of that adhesive warmed up to have a good bond. Now, as you are heating up the edge banding, you want to kind of roll the iron to both sides. And this is just making sure that we're curving that adhesive over the edge and making sure we get a good bond right up on the very edge instead of just flat on top. While you got that adhesive warm, go ahead and take your edge banding roller or your brayer roller, and we just want to make sure we push that adhesive down into the pores of the wood. Now, if you run off the edge like that, you will crack it like I did. Thankfully, I didn't go right up to the edge, but just be very conscious of that you will crack that edge banding very easily. It is delicate. Give it a good couple of rolls and we should be good to go. Now we're going to take our flush cut trimmers. I like to put my finger on the bottom here. Make sure your finger is placed safely though. And then we're just going to rock it till we feel that we're flat against the board. And just go ahead and give it a cut just like scissors. If you don't get it perfect the first time, you can come back and do it again. After you've given the edge banding a few seconds for that glue to cool down, make sure it's real stuck, it is time for our edging. Now, you want to just lay it flat on the board right there. There will be a reference surface. Bring your cutting edge back out beyond the edge banding and then squeeze it together, which will be squeezing the bottom here tight against the plywood and not the edge banding. You see there's a little gap right there for the edge banding to actually go inside. Go ahead and set it down on there. Squeeze it together. Doesn't have to be with extreme force, and then you'll see the cutting edge cut away right in a second. And just like that, you have something that pretty much looks like a piece of hardwood, at least from this angle. Take your sanding block and give it a quick swipe on both sides. And really, that's it. Using that exact process in this shop, I've edge banded hundreds of feet of edge banding on projects that have lasted for years and years and are still being used to this day. Now, if I was to take this up to anyone but a woodworker, they would have a hard time to tell me if this was edge banded or if it was a solid piece of wood. as we can see right here, it looks pretty close. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's what Tyler would do. If you guys have any questions about a woodworking task or a unknown DIY project, hit me up in those comments down below and I will see if I can make a video for your beautiful eyes and tell you what Tyler would do in a situation like that. If this video helped you out, please hammer that thumbs up button as it helps us out and gets this video in front of more eyes. That's what Tyler would do. I'm Tyler, and you guys have a good